Today on Turner Classic Movies, don't miss 1 minute of our 24-hour birthday salute to career girl Joan Blondell, as she works round the clock to bring a killer to justice and back in circulation. Then Eleanor Parker baffles Blondell with her many moods in the psychological drama Lizzie. And best friend Jane Wyman is aghast when Blondell begins an affair between the king and the chorus girl. Nothing is too good for Joan Blondell today on Turner Classic Movies.
I've worn out my welcome with this town. I've heard the cry of the city, and I've seen things I can't drink off my mind. Push always comes to shove, and there's no time to be afraid of the dark. You gotta dance as fast as you can, because the footsteps always get closer. The night always gets longer, and trouble always sneaks up and slaps you across the face. And I'm tired of getting slapped around.
One February day in 1946, this lady, this grand lady, swept into the lobby of the Sugar Bowl Ski Lodge in Northern California. Norma Shearer, the queen of MGM, 5 years retired from a career that began in silent movies, saw this photograph sitting on my daddy's desk in that ski lodge, and she declared, "What a pretty face. She ought to be in pictures." And that's how Norma Shearer made me, Janet Leigh, a movie star. Just months after Miss Shearer saw my photograph, there I was, signed to a 7-year MGM contract. I first met Miss Shearer at the publicity shoot for my debut film, The Romance of Rosie Ridge, starring Van Johnson. Norma Shearer came to the studio to have her picture taken with me, her find. I was so nervous. I was in awe of Norma Shearer. Her talent, her beauty, her glamour.
Come on. Put him around me.
You have to understand how much Norma Shearer meant to me. As a child, I couldn't afford fan magazines, so I used to sit on the floor of the drugstore and read anything I could find on her. Now, MGM was the home of Hollywood's greatest stars, Greta Garbo, Joan Crawford, but Norma Shearer was the recognized queen of the studio. So to me, just meeting Miss Shearer, let alone being discovered by her, was beyond my wildest dreams. I really did have a fairy godmother. In life and on screen, Norma Shearer was the quintessential star. She had flair, presence.
It is like a landscape on the moon.
She electrified the room when she made an entrance.
Get a load of that. Isn't she gorgeous?
She was elegance personified, extremely chic, without being maud. And Miss Shearer was a tremendous actress. Her style could be grand.
I want you. I'm yours, you're mine. I want that to be true before you go.
But she could also bring intense subtlety to her roles. She is brilliant in The Women. In the most dramatic, emotional scenes, watch how her feelings wash across her porcelain face.
So you see, Daddy and Mommy are going to get a divorce. That's why I'm going away. That's why Oh, darling. I can't explain quite, but when you're older, I know you'll understand, and you'll forgive me. You really will. Baby, look at me, please.
My favorite Norma Shearer film is Marie Antoinette. She is absolutely dazzling in the costume sequences. And the scene when Miss Shearer is locked in her prison cell, a queen desperately worried about her children, struck me to the core.
The convention's voted to take your son away from you.
You mean you're going to take my little boy away from me? No. You can't mean that. You have children yourselves. Perhaps you have hearts. You're not merciless.
Mama, don't let them take me. I don't want to go.
No, darling, no. You shan't go.
Let's do it again.
That voice, too. It's the voice of a movie star. I loved her voice. It had a beautiful ring to it.
What would one do without one's morning coffee? That's what I often ask myself.
And how do you reply to yourself?
Victor, sugar for Sybil.
So few stars survived the switch from silent to sound. But Norma Shearer did more than survive. She became a still greater performer.
If I weren't nuts about you, I'd just naturally lay you over my knee and frail you.
Oh, you great big brute.
Imagine how I felt to be taken under her wing. I think Miss Shearer felt protective about my career because, well, I was her discovery. She included me in her circle of friends. I went to parties at her estate, joined her skiing at Sun Valley. And over the years, we became good friends. She impressed me with her grace, dignity, and kindness. She truly was a beautiful person. I also learned of her incredible strength. Norma Shearer made her own way in the movies, became a star in her own right before she married MGM production chief Irving Thalberg. And she fought with Thalberg to convince him to cast her in The Divorcee, the role that won her the Academy Award.
I like to make love to you till you scream for help.
Can't scream.
Even after Irving Thalberg's death, Norma Shearer made many great films and remained a powerful figure at MGM. And she had a wonderful second marriage, an achievement rare among the great actresses of her era. Miss Shearer's strength and determination showed in her work, in her every performance. She played the role of poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning the only way Norma Shearer could. Not as a frail invalid, but as a vital, inspiring artist.
Oh, but those poems, with their glad and great-hearted acceptance of life. You can't imagine what they mean to me. Here I am shut in by these four walls, and they troop into my room, those wonderful people of yours, out of every age and country, and all so tingling with life.
Norma Shearer liked to say she led a storybook life, but it was a life she made for herself. A story perhaps without controversy or the notoriety of some of her contemporaries, but a great story nonetheless, and a story I'm so very proud to have been a part of. For Turner Classic Movies, I'm Janet Leigh.
We salute the class act that captivated audiences as the First Lady of the Screen. Norma Shearer is our September Star of the Month, all next month here on Turner Classic Movies.
Sister, have you considered the seriousness of what you're doing?
Yes.
Sister, is there nothing we can do?
Nothing.
On this fateful autumn day, the nun called Sister Luke, under special and extraordinary circumstances, was released from all her vows. She took leave of her convent forever because, in her own words, she was no longer a nun. Only afterwards did she reveal to the world her truly remarkable and very personal story. This is that story. As a book, The Nun's Story swiftly became the most gripping and dramatic bestseller of this decade. Now a tremendous motion picture, it pierces deep into the fascinating secrets of a seldom, if ever, seen world. Deeper into the pageant and violence of the teeming African Congo. And deepest of all, into the conscience of a young and beautiful girl.
You will be assisting Dr. Fortunati. He is a genius and a devil.
But remember, he is also a man, a bachelor, and I'm afraid an unbeliever.
Don't ever think for an instant, sister, that your habit will protect you.
You will search your memory in vain for motion picture excitement and entertainment to compare it with. There is no equal. There has never been a motion picture like The Nun's Story.
Will do you good. And meeting Father Merlin will too. Religion hasn't made him tense and disciplined.
A nun is a disciplined person.
Yes, but not necessarily tense. As a surgeon, it's not my business to pry into the mind, but I'd say that tension is the sign of an exhausting inner struggle.
Do you realize that every time you make me talk to you like this, I should go down on my knees before my sisters and proclaim my fault?
Just leave your cares and woes and let your troubles fall. You'll find a starry sky behind that cloud you're under. It's such a perfect time for one real wonder.
What goes on here? Somebody hurt? Somebody drowned? Well, you see, it's this way. Every time, why, hello. Yes, that is. Where was I? Oh, yes. These kids belong to the California Waterbugs Club. A friendly driver gave them a lift, and let's hope there's nothing prophetic in the nature of that vehicle. Anyway, once again, they risked their necks trying to outstunt each other, this time in the Bay of Santa Monica. With water skiing becoming a very popular sport on the Pacific coast, Aaron Phillips tries a new way to take off on his sliding slats. Like all water bugs, he wants to be different. He is. Many skiers take off by partly submerging and letting the towboat pull them gradually to the surface, but not Aaron. He wants to start from a stationary position above the water and at top speed. Go! Oh, mister. Well, wise guy, what's wrong, huh? What, again? Here we go. Yahoo! He made it. Speed, fun, thrills, what a sport. But me, well, I'll stick to collecting beer bottle tops. And now the lads will try another stunt, a takeoff from a speeding boat. Coming up is the towboat, traveling better than 50 miles an hour. Look out! Yow, these guys are balmy. Maybe it's the climate. No pun intended. Anyway, you ain't seen nothing yet. And with this kind of inspiration, who wouldn't show off a little? Now through a forest of piling at top speed. Boy, a nice way to get barnacles in your hair. Okay, well, here comes the finale of this dizzy routine. Yup, he's going to try to return to the blonde's boat. And who wouldn't? Moving along at high speed, the first time this has ever been attempted. Nice going, Peterson. Meet the official lifeguard of the water bugs, ready to come to the rescue in case of a crack-up. Yes, indeed, an amphibian craft that can speed over land or water. An assistant is equipped with an amphibian ski. The lads have shown a lot of ingenuity and have spent many long hours perfecting their novel equipment. Okay, here's how they go to the rescue. Pretty slick, eh? Yes, sir. Here in the blink of an eye, you have seen an automobile become a smooth-sailing powerboat. That is, a powerboat. Well, a boat. And now, not to be outdone by his fellow water bugs, Windy MacDonald on the left sticks his neck out with this little number. There he is, riding one ski and feeling like a mouse hanging onto the tail of an elephant in full flight. And now our Herculean hunk of masculinity becomes the daring young man on the flying ski. Calling Dr. Kildare, calling Dr. Kildare. Now back to the leaping liquid. Yes, sir, and thus unscathed, our Scotch ski scholar concludes his sky skiing. Excuse, please. And here's something the water bugs whipped up in the way of the world's largest skis for community water skiing. With a tow rope fastened to a powerful speedboat, 5 people take off on one pair of skis. Go! Marvelous. Well, we'll try it from a sitting position. Now we're getting somewhere, or are we? Look, they're coming to the surface. They're making it. What? Oh, I get it. They've dug up a lumber conveyor. These kids are going to take off on those super skis, or else. And I'm afraid it'll be, or else. Well, anyway, the idea is to slide off rollers to a moving start. And here goes. Hang on, fellas. Say, it looks like this launching is a success after all. Yup, it's in the bag. They've done it. But now the question is, can they stay on? Well, here they are. 5 people riding one pair of skis. That's a new number for the book. Pardon me, lady. I'd like your number, too. Oh, stuck up, eh? Hold everything. Here come the bumps. All right, gang. Let's get tricky. Here goes. Alley, up. There you are. And now the other gal. Up. That's it. Nothing to it. Hey, goodness, how graceful. Hello. Where have you been all this picture? However, willy-nilly, hi-ho, and lack-a-day, the show must go on. So, here we go for another try. There, a double pyramid on a single pair of skis. And how do they get out of this? Like so. Scram, mister. Anyone need a pair of seagoing shoes? Now, with Carrie Lofton up, Pete Peterson is at the other end of the tow rope. One of the simplest ways to break some bones is to ski out of water, over dry land, and back into water again. So, Pete will try it. Look out! So, Pete tries again. Are you kidding? Good. That's doing it. From water to land. Now, back to water. Yeah, what a guy. And now, having failed to break their respective necks, Peterson and Lofton go completely berserk. Listen, fella, are you sure you want to go through with this thing? Okay. And so to bed.
Hi there, I'm Robert Osborne. Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, our special 24-hour birthday tribute to Joan Blondell will continue. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, Joan stars as a spunky showgirl who masquerades as her roommate to keep a stuffy businessman from ruining her romance with a crooner played by Dick Powell. It's a musical featuring spectacular production numbers by Busby Berkeley, and it's called Gold Diggers of 1933. Then at 10 o'clock, Joan Blondell plays a streetwise gal who romances a tough undercover cop, Edward G. Robinson. It's a hard-hitting drama co-starring Humphrey Bogart called Bullets or Ballots. And then at 11:30, Joan Blondell plays a secretary to a musical producer played by James Cagney. And she's got romantic notions about her boss. It's a musical with more great Busby Berkeley numbers, and it's called Footlight Parade. So do join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern as we continue to celebrate the talents of the wonderful Joan Blondell. It's all happening right here on Turner Classic Movies.